All right, so we're always looking ahead here, trying to get a glimpse into the future, and you sent over this article that predicts some pretty interesting things about hotel dining.
Yeah, this one was a really fun read.
Yeah.
It's from Hotel Dive, published just last month, January 2025, and it features some thoughts from Stephen Toves.
Ah, Stephen Toves of Marriott International.
Exactly. He's their VP of Culinary Global Operations, and he had some pretty interesting thoughts.
Yeah, and in 2024, we saw this just insatiable demand for standout experiences, especially at those top-tier luxury hotels.
Right? People are willing to spend more to get something really unique and memorable.
Exactly. So let's unpack some of these predictions and see where things might be heading.
That's good.
Well, one thing that really jumped out at me from this article was this prediction that dining experiences are going to become truly multisensory.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a trend that's already starting to emerge, but it sounds like it's really going to take off in 2025.
Yeah, it seems like hotels are taking the whole concept of, dinner and a show to a whole new level.
Right. And it makes sense. I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
People are craving those deeper connections, those more immersive experiences.
absolutely.
So it's not just about the food anymore. It's about creating this whole ambiance, this whole atmosphere that really engages all the senses.
So Toves talks about tailored soundscapes that change with each course. He mentions scents that are designed to specifically complement the food,
Hmm.
and even lighting that shifts and changes throughout the meal.
It's like creating a symphony for your senses.
It really is. I mean, I can just imagine, being in this environment where the music, the aromas, the lighting, it all kind of works together to enhance the flavors of the food and the overall dining experience.
Yeah, and there's actually a growing body of research that shows that engaging multiple senses can actually create a more emotionally resonant experience.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's not just about creating a spectacle. It's actually about tapping into the power of our senses to make the experience more memorable, more impactful.
And I can see how this would be especially appealing to luxury travelers, those folks who are already seeking out those unique and unforgettable moments.
Absolutely. And it ties into this whole larger trend of experiential travel where people are looking for more than just a place to sleep.
Right. They want to be fully immersed in a destination.
Exactly. They want to engage all their senses, create those lasting memories.
And the article actually mentions a few specific examples of hotels that are already experimenting with this kind of multisensory dining.
Yeah, like the Gwen in Chicago. They've got this tipsy tea experience, which is
Mhm.
basically a modern twist on traditional high tea.
I read about that. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so, you got those delicate finger sandwiches and pastries, but then they've added a DJ and craft cocktails to the mix.
So you can enjoy your tea with a side of beets.
Exactly. It's a really fun way to kind of update a classic tradition and appeal to a younger crowd while still honoring the elegance of high tea.
I've never been much of a tea drinker myself, but even I'd be tempted to try that.
Right. It just sounds like a fun experience. And then there's another example, the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
They have this steakhouse called Old Hickory Steakhouse, and they're known for their reimagined baked potato.
Okay, now that's got my attention. I love a good baked potato.
Oh, yeah, this is not your average baked potato, though. This one's loaded with gourmet ingredients like pork belly lardon, caviar, black truffle.
Wow, that sounds incredible. It's more like a gourmet delicacy than a humble side dish.
Exactly. And that's what's so fascinating about this trend. It's like chefs are taking comfort food and elevating it to a whole new level.
They're using those premium ingredients, innovative techniques to create these really unforgettable culinary experiences.
And it's not just about the food itself. It's about the presentation, the whole ambiance.
It's about creating an experience that's both delicious and visually stunning.
Exactly. It's interesting to think about how these really elaborate culinary creations might actually change the way hotel kitchens are designed and equipped.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even considered that aspect of it. Like maybe we'll start seeing more molecular gastronomy equipment or like specialized sound and lighting systems integrated into the kitchens.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of talent to pull this off, too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of expertise, Toews also talks about the growing role of social media
Yes, social media.
and shaping hotel dining trends.
Right, and he talks about how chefs are really using these platforms like Instagram and TikTok to stay on top of those trends and test out new ideas.
Yeah, and to build their personal brand, too.
It's like they're using social media as a real-time focus group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can see what's resonating with people, what's getting shared and talked about.
And they can get instant feedback on new dishes and presentation styles.
It's really smart.
I thought this quote from Toews was really interesting. He says, "Chefs are an extension of our hotel brands."
Oh, yeah, that's a great quote.
It really shows how a chef's social media presence can actually drive business to a hotel.
Absolutely. Imagine you're scrolling through Instagram and you come across this stunning photo of a dish from a hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
That visual appeal, that sense of artistry and innovation,
Yeah.
it's incredibly persuasive.
It's like food photography has become its own form of advertising.
Right. It's like a subgenre of travel photography almost.
And it's not just about attracting new customers either. I think social media allows chefs to really foster a sense of community with their guests. They can share behind-the-scenes glimpses of their kitchens, answer questions from diners, solicit feedback.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah, exactly. Chefs are using social media to promote their creations, and diners are using it to discover new culinary experiences and connect with the chefs behind them.
It's a symbiotic relationship for sure.
You know, this whole conversation about social media makes me think about another trend that Toev's mentioned, the rise of multi-generational travel.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
And it seems like these two trends are really intertwined.
Absolutely. So Tellis talks about how hotels are tapping into this trend by offering what he calls nostalgia.
Nostalgia. Now that's a great word.
It's catchy, right? It's basically about taking something familiar and giving it a fresh, modern twist.
Okay, so like the tipsy tea we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. It appeals to a younger generation while still resonating with the older generation who remember traditional high tea.
It's a way for families to connect over a shared experience, but still enjoy something new and exciting.
Right. And it's not easy to strike that balance, but hotels are really trying to cater to different generations while creating these unique and memorable experiences.
Another good example of this is that reimagined baked potato at Old Hickory Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, with all the gourmet toppings.
It's a classic dish, but it's been elevated to something really special.
And that's something everyone can relate to, right? Everyone loves a good baked potato.
Absolutely. But by adding those luxurious touches, it becomes something worth sharing, something worth talking about.
And that's where social media comes in again.
Right. People are going to want to post pictures of that extravagant baked potato on their Instagram stories.
Exactly. It's a dish that's both delicious and visually appealing, which makes it perfect for social media.
And it's no accident that it's so shareable. Chefs are designing these dishes with that in mind.
Absolutely. They're thinking about how the food will look on a plate, how it will photograph, and how it will be perceived by their online audience.
You know, it's kind of wild to think about how integral social media has become to the whole dining experience.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, it's not just about the food anymore. It's about this whole visual and social aspect of it.
And it makes you wonder if there's a risk of it becoming too superficial, you know?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
too focused on getting that perfect Instagram shot rather than actually, savoring the food and the company.
That's a really good point.
Okay.
I think there's always a danger of that happening. But I also think, there's a way to find that balance.
Right.
It's really up to each individual diner to decide how they want to engage with the experience.
Some people are there for the gram and some people are there for the food.
Exactly. Some people might just snap a quick photo and move on, while
Yeah.
others, they're really taking the time to appreciate the artistry, the flavors, the whole experience.
So it's all about finding that balance,
Mhm.
being mindful of how social media influences our experiences without letting it totally dictate them.
Absolutely. And I think hotels are becoming more aware of this too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're not just designing dishes for Instagram. They're also thinking about how to create spaces and experiences that encourage genuine connection conversation among their guests.
Right. It's not just about the virtual world, it's about the real world, too.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here today. From multisensory dining to social media's impact, it seems like the future of hotel dining is going to be anything but boring.
I agree. It's definitely an exciting time to be following the hospitality industry. Hotels are constantly innovating and pushing the boundaries.
They're really raising the bar when it comes to creating those memorable dining experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
So to kind of recap, it seems like the big takeaway here is that it's not just about the food anymore.
Right.
It's about creating a holistic experience
Mhm.
that engages all the senses, caters to different generations, leverages the power of social media.
Absolutely. Hotels are realizing that dining is an integral part of the guest experience, and they're really investing in creating these truly memorable and impactful culinary journeys.
You know, Toews' predictions have really given us a lot to think about. But here's a final thought-provoking question for all of you listening out there.
Oh, I guess.
As these trends continue to gain momentum, how might they impact the actual design and architecture of hotels in the future?
That's a great question.
Will we start seeing spaces that are specifically designed to enhance sound, scent, and lighting for these immersive dining experiences?
Mm.
Will hotel lobbies and common areas be designed with social media shareability in mind?
It's certainly something for developers and designers to think about as they plan for the future.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the future of hotel dining. Thanks for joining us. And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What stood out to you as the most surprising or intriguing trend? Let us know.